Something extraordinary is unfolding today, July 7th. This isn't just another date on the calendar. It's a doorway that opens only once a year, and most people walk right past without noticing. But you're here, and that means you're different. You sense that today carries something special, something capable of completely reshaping how you see yourself and your life. Imagine if I told you that this precise moment holds an energetic frequency, able to speed up your personal transformation in ways that would normally take months, maybe years. You might think that sounds too good to be true, yet ancient wisdom traditions and modern science alike are beginning to reveal how certain numerical alignments create unique windows for growth and change. Think about where you are right now. Are you living the life you truly imagine, or are you stuck in patterns that repeat from day to day and month to month? Most of us find ourselves captured by the same mental loops, the same emotional reactions, the same limiting beliefs we carry like invisible chains. We say we want change, yet we somehow keep recreating the same reality. Today is different. The universe is offering you a reset button. The only real question isn't whether the opportunity exists. It's whether you'll recognize it and act. Numbers like 77 form a vibrational gateway that amplifies our capacity for transformation. That isn't mystical nonsense. It's about understanding how consciousness responds to patterns and how we can use that response to break free from limitation. The energy is swirling around you right now as you listen to these words. You can feel the subtle shift in the air, the unmistakable sense that today is not like any other day. Yet without intention, energy is merely chaos, and without action, it's only a daydream. So, what will you do with the gift of July 7th? Before we dive deeper into this powerful date, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you're ready to harness July 7th's transformative energy and finally break the patterns holding you back, drop a comment that says, "I claim my 77 transformation." Since the dawn of recorded history, the number 7 has fascinated human consciousness. 7 days of creation, 7 chakras, 7 colors in the rainbow, 7 musical notes forming the foundation of harmony. That's no coincidence. 7 represents completion, spiritual awakening, the bridge between the physical and the metaphysical. And when that potent number shows up twice in a single date, its influence doesn't just double, it multiplies. 77 creates what energy workers call a master frequency, tuning us naturally to higher possibilities. Think of it like dialing a radio to its clearest station. Most days we fight static, caused by ordinary worries and distractions. But on days like today, the signal comes through crystal clear, allowing insights and inspiration we can't usually access. A single 7 invites us to look inward. A double 7 creates an energetic vortex that pulls us deeper than we'd normally go. That's why you might feel different today. More reflective, more aware of possibilities, more sensitive to the subtle currents of change flowing through your life. Ancient numerologists understood that certain numerical combinations act as portals, moments when the veil between what is and what could be grows thin. 77 ranks among the most powerful because it combines the energy of spiritual awakening with the power of repetition. It's like aiming a cosmic magnifying glass directly at your potential transformation. What makes today even more special is that you're conscious of it. Most people experience the subtle effects of energetic alignments without ever knowing why they feel restless, inspired, or unusually introspective. They dismiss those feelings as random mood swings. But you realize something important is happening. That awareness becomes a tool that magnifies the energy even further. This heightened state of consciousness doesn't last forever. The 77 energy peaks today and gradually returns to baseline over the next few days. That's why recognizing this moment is so vital. You're more receptive to change right now, but like all windows, this one will close. The question burning in your mind should be simple. With your consciousness naturally aligned to transformation, how will you spend these precious hours? Every day carries its own energetic signature, but most of them blur together in an endless flow of routine and repetition. We wake up, follow familiar patterns, and respond to life with the same mental and emotional programming we've run for years. Certain dates, however, break that monotony like a bolt of lightning splitting a cloudy sky, and today is one of them. The idea of high vibration days isn't a New Age fantasy. It rests on the fact that consciousness responds to patterns, and some patterns reverberate more powerfully than others. Just as certain musical combinations create harmony, while others create dissonance, some numerical alignments generate periods of enhanced possibility, while others feel flat and uninspiring. 77's particular power lies in its perfect symmetry. Whenever we encounter perfect patterns in nature or mathematics, something in our consciousness recognizes order and responds with heightened attention and receptivity. Today, quite literally, your brain is more open to new information, more willing to entertain possibilities it would normally filter out as unrealistic or impossible. This increased receptivity creates what researchers call windows of neuroplasticity, periods when our neural networks are more flexible and eager to form new connections. Insights that would ordinarily take weeks or months to integrate can click into place within hours. Habits that once felt unbreakable suddenly seem manageable. Dreams that seemed too big now look attainable. Here's the catch. This heightened state isn't automatic. The energy is there for you to tap, but it won't force itself upon you. You have to meet it halfway through conscious intention and deliberate action. Instead of letting the flow pass unnoticed, you must choose to step into it. Think back. How many times have you felt that subtle pull towards something greater, that whisper of possibility, only to dismiss it as unrealistic and retreat to comfortable routines? Today, that whisper becomes a clear voice. Will you finally listen? Energy without direction is chaos. Power without purpose is just noise. Opportunity without action is a missed chance to move beyond your current limits. The 77 frequency isn't a magic wand that automatically transforms your life. It's a tool, and like any tool, its effectiveness depends entirely on how skillfully you use it. This is where many people get stuck. They expect transformation to happen to them, instead of realizing they must be active participants in their own evolution. They consume inspirational content, read transformative books, attend workshops and seminars. Yet nothing fundamentally changes because they never shift from passive consumption to active creation. The energy available today is like gaining access to a powerful amplifier for your intentions. But if you have no clear intentions, if you haven't decided what you actually want to change or create, then all that amplified energy will just create more of the same confusion and stagnation you already experience. Before we go any deeper, you need to be honest with yourself. Which patterns in your life are you tired of repeating? Which version of yourself are you ready to release? What dreams have you postponed because they felt too big or too frightening? What would you dare to attempt if you knew the universe had your back? These aren't questions you can answer while multitasking or half listening. They demand the kind of honest self-reflection most people avoid, because it forces them to confront the gap between who they are and who they could be. That's exactly the inner work the 77 energy is designed to support. The choice before you now is simple but profound. Will you use today as a catalyst for genuine change? Or will you let it slip away like so many missed opportunities before? Will you step into the role of conscious creator of your reality? Or remain a passive observer of events that happen not to you, but because of you? When Joe Dispenza talks about our ability to alter personal reality, he isn't speaking in metaphors or wishful thinking. He's describing a measurable scientific process that happens in your brain every time you shift focus and maintain elevated emotional states. What makes his work revolutionary is how it bridges ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience, demonstrating exactly how consciousness shapes our biological experience. The core insight that changes everything is this: your brain doesn't distinguish between experiences you live and experiences you vividly imagine with genuine emotion. When you combine focused mental rehearsal with elevated emotions like gratitude, joy, or inspiration, you begin wiring new neural circuits that influence your automatic behaviors and reactions. Most people live their entire lives on autopilot, reacting to circumstances with the same mental and emotional patterns they developed years or decades ago. They wonder why life feels repetitive and predictable, unaware that they're unconsciously recreating the same inner state day after day, which naturally produces the same outer results. Here's the exciting part: you're not doomed to the neural programming you have right now. Each time you consciously choose a different thought, deliberately generate an elevated emotion, and rehearse a new version of yourself with real feeling, you rewire your brain in real time. Neurologically, you become different from who you were just minutes earlier. When you practice this process during periods of high receptivity, like today, the rewiring accelerates dramatically. The 77 energy creates optimal conditions for new neural pathways to form because your consciousness is naturally more flexible and open to change. It means you're working with an amplified energy that wants to assist your evolution instead of fighting years of mental conditioning. The most powerful aspect of this process is learning to generate elevated emotions independent of external circumstances. Most people wait for something good to happen before they feel grateful, inspired, or joyful. When you reverse that equation, when you intentionally produce those states first, you begin attracting conditions that match your elevated internal reality. This isn't about positive thinking or denying current challenges. It's about understanding that your emotional state is the creative force shaping your future experiences. So ask yourself, if you could rewire any aspect of your mental and emotional programming today, what would you choose first? Your mind produces roughly 60,000 thoughts per day, and neuroscientists estimate that 90% of them are the same thoughts you had yesterday. Consider that for a moment. 9 out of 10 thoughts passing through your mind today are reruns. These automatic thought loops aren't neutral. They continually reinforce your current reality by producing the same emotions, triggering the same behaviors, and attracting the same kinds of experiences you've had for months or years. If you want a different life, you need different thoughts. But most people never realize how completely their mental habits control their destiny. The first step to escaping unconscious programming is cultivating what psychologists call metacognition, the ability to observe your own thinking. Instead of being lost in your thoughts, you start noticing them, watching them arise and pass like clouds moving across the sky of awareness. That observer consciousness is naturally stronger today because the 77 energy heightens self-reflection and inner awareness. You may find yourself more sensitive to your mental chatter, more aware of emotional reactions as they surface, more conscious of choices you'd normally make automatically. Awareness alone, however, isn't enough. You must pair observation with conscious redirection. Each time you catch yourself running an old mental loop, you reach a choice point. Continue down the familiar neural path, or intentionally select a different thought, focus, or emotional response. This feels awkward at first, because you're literally going against years of mental conditioning. Your old patterns feel comfortable and natural, because they're so well rehearsed. New ways of thinking feel forced. That discomfort is a sign you're successfully breaking free from unconscious programming. Here's what you need to understand. You don't have to eliminate every negative or limiting thought. You just need to stop fully identifying with them. When you realize you are not your thoughts, you are the awareness observing them, everything shifts. In our hyper-connected world, silence has become a rare and precious commodity. We're bombarded by information, notifications, opinions, and distractions, keeping us perpetually outward focused and leaving almost no space for authentic inner guidance to surface. On an energetically charged day like today, that external noise becomes more than just a distraction. It interferes with receiving the insights and inspiration trying to reach us. The heightened 77 energy naturally boosts your intuitive abilities, but only if you create the inner space for subtle perception. That means deliberately stepping away from the constant stimulation that usually fills your day and allowing yourself to be with whatever emerges in stillness. Pay close attention to what arises when you sit quietly today. You might notice thoughts or feelings that don't seem to come from your usual mental chatter. You might sense possibilities you've never considered. You might feel drawn toward actions or changes your logical mind hasn't yet fully reasoned out. This inner guidance isn't mystical or supernatural. It's your deeper wisdom attempting to communicate through the noise of everyday consciousness. Like a radio signal, it needs the right frequency and minimal interference to come through clearly. Ask yourself, when was the last time you gave yourself permission to sit in complete silence and truly listen to what your inner wisdom wants to tell you? Joe Dispenza's research on the quantum field explores one of the most exciting frontiers in consciousness work: the understanding that beyond our physical reality lies an infinite realm of potential where all possibilities exist simultaneously. For academics, that might be theoretical physics, but for you, it's practical knowledge that can revolutionize how you approach change in your life. Through meditation, visualization, or elevated emotional states, you can enter the quantum field, a dimension where the limitations that seem so solid in everyday experience become fluid and malleable. This arena responds to consciousness, intention, and emotion in ways that can appear miraculous until you grasp the mechanics behind it. The key to entering this field is moving beyond analytical thought and into what researchers call heart coherence, a state in which your heart rhythm becomes smooth and ordered, creating optimal conditions for intuitive perception and creative insight. In this state, you're no longer trying to figure out how to change your life through mental effort alone. You're connecting with the regulating intelligence behind all transformation. What makes today especially powerful for this kind of work is that the 77 energy naturally eases the shift from ordinary awareness to expanded consciousness. The heightened receptivity you feel is your consciousness becoming more permeable to quantum field information. Most people approach change from a place of lack, focusing on what they don't want or what they're trying to fix. Quantum field consciousness operates from a different paradigm, the understanding that everything you could desire already exists in potential, waiting for the right combination of clear intention and elevated emotion to bring it into physical reality. This process requires you to feel the emotion of your desired future before it manifests in your external circumstances, to generate genuine gratitude for changes that haven't happened yet, authentic joy for achievements you haven't yet reached, real love for the version of yourself you're still becoming. The quantum field doesn't respond to desperate wanting or fearful hoping. It responds to the feeling of already having, already being, already experiencing what you desire. That's why traditional goal setting so often fails. It keeps you focused on the gap between where you are and where you want to be, energetically reinforcing the lack you're trying to overcome. When you approach today's enhanced energy from a quantum perspective, you don't just hope for change. You participate in creating new realities by aligning your consciousness with possibilities beyond current physical evidence. Setting an intention isn't the same as making a wish list or jotting down goals. Genuine intention is a focused directive from your consciousness that marshals your mental, emotional, and energetic resources toward a specific outcome. It's the difference between hoping something will happen and consciously choosing to become the person for whom that outcome is inevitable. Today's amplified energy provides a perfect time to set intentions that will continue working long after July 7th passes. To wield true power, your intentions must be specific enough to direct your energy, yet broad enough to allow possibilities you haven't imagined. Start by clarifying what you want to release. Which version of yourself are you ready to outgrow? Which patterns, beliefs, or behaviors no longer serve your highest evolution? Write them down with absolute honesty, free of judgment or drama. You're simply acknowledging what you're ready to leave behind. Next, define what you want to create or become. Here's the key. Frame your intentions in terms of who you are rather than what you get. Instead of, "I want more money," try, "I am someone who effortlessly creates value." Instead of, "I want a better relationship," try, "I am someone who attracts and sustains loving connections." Finally, spend time today generating the emotional state of already being that new version of yourself. Feel what it's like to move through the world as someone who has fully embodied these changes. That emotional rehearsal turns intention from a mental concept into an energetic reality. Your intention should feel both exciting and slightly impossible, big enough to inspire you, yet believable enough that your nervous system won't dismiss it as fantasy. Which version of yourself sits just beyond your current identity, yet squarely within your capacity to embody? All we've discussed comes down to this decisive moment, when the 77 energy becomes either transformative wisdom or just another piece of interesting information that leaves nothing in your real life changed. The chance for accelerated growth is real, and the tools for conscious transformation are in your hands. But none of it matters unless you choose to act. Right now, you stand at a crossroads you may not fully recognize. One path loops back into familiar patterns, comfortable limitations, and predictable routines. It's the easy road because there is no risk, no discomfort, and no requirement to go beyond who you've always been. Most people will choose this path without ever realizing they've made a choice. The other path leads into unknown territory, where you'll discover what becomes possible when you stop settling for less than your full potential. This road requires courage. You'll have to let go of identities that no longer serve you. It requires faith. You'll be moving toward a vision of yourself that doesn't yet exist in physical form. It requires commitment. Real transformation happens not through bursts of inspiration, but through consistent action. The universal intelligence creating today's energetic alignment won't force you to evolve. Free will means you can either seize this opportunity or scroll past it like another date on a feed. Whether today becomes a turning point in your personal history or just another date is entirely up to you. Understand this: opportunities like today's don't come along often. The unique combination of energetic support, heightened awareness, and perfect timing you're experiencing right now may not occur again for months, perhaps years. That's not meant to pressure you. It's meant to help you appreciate the moment's value. Picture yourself a year ago. If that version of you could see you now, standing here with access to knowledge and energy, capable of radically changing how you experience life, how would they feel? Would they be in awe of the opportunity you have, or disappointed if you hesitate to embrace it fully? Deep down, you already know what to do. Beneath the mental chatter and familiar doubts, your deeper wisdom is speaking clearly about the changes you're ready to make. The 77 energy amplifies not just possibilities, but your internal knowing of exactly what those possibilities are. The question that will shape the rest of the year is simple. When the universe offers support, will you take inspired action, or will you always find reasons to wait for a better time that never comes? On July 7th, you've been given a gift most people will never notice, let alone accept. A window into the mechanics of conscious transformation, access to amplified energy for personal evolution, and practical tools to rebuild your reality from the inside out. The only question left is deceptively simple. What will you do with what you now know? This isn't just another video you watch for entertainment or a burst of inspiration that fades by morning. This is information capable of fundamentally altering the course of your life, if you treat it as more than intellectual understanding. Knowledge without application is procrastination in the guise of spiritual growth. The 77th energy that brought you to this moment won't last forever. By tomorrow, its intensity will start to wane, and by next week, you'll be back to normal energetic conditions. But the choices you make today, the intentions you set, and the steps you take in the next few hours will ripple far beyond the moment of cosmic alignment. You already have everything you need to start transforming your life immediately. You understand how consciousness shapes reality. You know how to break free from automatic mental patterns. You've learned to access quantum field possibilities and set clear intentions that align your entire being with desired outcomes. The only remaining variable is your willingness to step into the role of conscious creator, rather than remain a passive observer of your existence. The real question is whether you'll choose courage over comfort, growth over stagnation, possibility over limitation. Every transformation begins with the decision to stop settling for less than you know is possible. Every breakthrough starts the day someone decides to stop waiting for perfect conditions and instead creates them. Let's be completely honest about what that decision means. You'll have to disappoint the part of you that prefers familiar pain to unknown success. You'll have to trust your vision of possibility more than the difficulty of your past. You'll have to act from belief in your potential rather than evidence of your limitations. Most people will watch this video, feel inspired for a few hours, and slowly drift back into the patterns that have run their lives for years. They'll convince themselves they'll start tomorrow, next week, next month, when conditions are more favorable. But you now know better. You understand favorable conditions aren't something you wait for. They're something you create through the quality of your consciousness and the consistency of your choices. 6 months from now, you'll either look back on today as the moment everything began to change, or as a missed chance to move beyond your current limitations. The difference between those two outcomes won't be determined by luck, circumstances, or external factors. It will be determined by the decision you make right here, right now, in this pivotal moment. The energy is here. As these words reach your awareness, it's swirling around you. The tools are in your hands. The opportunity is wide open, but the choice is entirely yours.